Following a 21-win regular season and a second-place finish in the Sun Belt Conference, head coach Ron Hunter and Georgia State basketball headed to New Orleans for the 2018 Sun Belt Tournament. We're going to talk to head coach Ron Hunter about the season and about the Sun Belt Conference Tournament this week on the Georgia State Sports Update. Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome into the Georgia State Sports Update. Back for another week talking all things Georgia State. We've got Ron Hunter in studio. We're going to talk Georgia State basketball. Final two games of the regular season last week, hosting Troy and South Alabama. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit of baseball with head coach Greg Frady and catcher Nick Gatewood. That's a little later on in the show. But, Coach, great to have you back in the studio. Is this the continuation of the Ron Hunter Hour? The reality hour that we started last week, because it only went about 15 minutes last week.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with that. But again, I think we started with South Beach. We go from South Beach to Atlanta. We're just going to trek back and forth, and that's kind of the journey from South Beach. But we're getting to that. I'm negotiating that right now, and so we'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
All right, get ready to head down to New Orleans. The eating's good down there. Let's hope Georgia State's playing some great basketball. Finished up the season on a high note. Thursday night, a little bit of a tough time with Troy. They've been a challenge for Georgia State this year. But South Alabama on Saturday for Senior Day, you win it there 90-75 over South Alabama.
Yeah, I thought we came back and played with some energy, passion, and a purpose. Three things that we did not play with on Thursday. I've said before, after we had that Texas State win and we kind of secured second place and knowing we couldn't catch first place, is that we kind of turned it off a little bit. And that's a dangerous thing to do this time of year. So therefore we lost two games in a row. And we just played lackluster. And I thought we got that back on Saturday and was flying around, playing with emotion. We didn't want to lose for our seniors on senior night. And I thought that, especially defensively, I thought we got a 30% shooting, 35 or 36% from twos. And so when we can get back to doing that, score 90 points, then that's the team that I've seen all year.
Yeah. Going back to playing the kind of defense that Georgia State played when they ran off those 10 consecutive wins, holding teams, a majority of those games, holding a majority of those teams to under 40% shooting and scoring, in the mid-upper 60s.
Yeah, if you look at our last two wins, which is Texas State and in the game against South Alabama, that's what we done. And when we can do that, man, we're really good. And really, the games aren't even close. And so, the only negative I had about our team this year is sometimes we just get complacent. Yeah. And so we get complacent. We're not very good. And so, again, and I don't think I have to worry about that this weekend because, all the marbles on the table. And so it's time to go win 3 games in 3 days. And I think this team is capable of doing that.
All right, final score from last Thursday night. Troy came into the Georgia State Sports Arena. They beat the Panthers by the final score of 83-70. I know you were not a happy camper after that ball game at all. Troy is, for whatever reason, they beat us both times this year. Yeah. But for whatever reason, if you look at really any Sun Belt Conference team, we would point to Troy as being the one that has provided the biggest challenge for us.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure what Thursday. Again, we just had no energy. We had nothing, and it was we saw it before the game, and again, the other two times we played Troy, we had big leads and we gave them up. So It's not been that they just came in and just dominated us. It's been one small thing after another that we just either didn't finish the game, and then Thursday we just didn't show up for the game. They could have stayed down in Alabama, and we would have mailed that one in. We just didn't come to play.
Georgia State bounces back on Saturday. Again, as Coach mentioned, it was Senior Day, which is always emotional. And Panthers put 90 up on the board, a 90-75 win over the Jaguars of South Alabama. That was a nice bit of payback because if you go back to the very beginning of the Sun Belt Conference season, which was late December 29th and 31st, we dropped both games on that trip. It was good to get South Alabama in the sports arena and end the season on a high note, but end it against them.
Yeah, it was important for two reasons. A, is more important because of how we played. We needed to play that way, especially going into the conference tournament. You talk about playing on a high note. We just had to play the right way, and I thought we played the right way against South Alabama. It wasn't about that they beat us before, but we had to play the right way. Secondly, we got to turn around and play the winner of either one of those two teams. So they kind of freshen our mind in regards to preparation to be able to play them and knowing the things that we need to get done to be able to do that.
Well, when you look at the stat sheet from that ball game, Georgia State, for just the second time this year, only the sixth time in the history of Georgia State basketball has there been a game where three players have scored 20 or more points. Isaiah Williams had a Georgia State career-high 23. DeMarcus Simons had 21. We'll talk about DeMarcus in his postseason honors. And Devin Mitchell scored 20.
Yeah, you would think, as long as Georgia State been playing basketball, that it's been done more than 6 times, and that's it's kind of a strange stat to me. You would think that would have happened, but again, we've got guys that do that. I think that we've had 6 guys that have scored 19 or more points in a game, and so the versatility of this team is something that I really like. And so I don't have to say, well, boy, if Devin doesn't make shots, who's going to make shots? We can turn around and get Jeff, or we can get Zeke, and so or we get Malik. So we got different guys that can do it, and DeMarcus stays kind of steady, and that's actually a great formula to have in the conference tournament.
All right, so senior day is senior day. You've been a part of many of them as a player and as a coach now for a number of years. You never know what you're going to get with regards to how players respond to senior day. And that's Georgia State on Saturdays. No better example. You had 2 seniors. One played really well. The other one struggled a little bit. Well,
the one thing you do know is that 1 or 2 things are going to happen. One's going to play. Someone's going to play well. Someone's going to play poorly. Because both guys, what happens is it just happens on senior night. You want to play your last game. You want to play well. You want to play well in front of your family. It's the last time you're going to put that uniform on. Probably the last time you're going to be in that arena to play a game. And so all those emotions are going through your mind, and trying to handle that on a one-game deal is a very difficult thing to do. And generally, either a guy plays out of his mind or he just plays so poorly because he puts so much pressure on himself to play well in that game.
Well, if you go back to Georgia State's loss at South Alabama, the guy that played out of his mind was Roderick Sykes. He got off to a pretty quick start on Saturday, but right after that, he struggled from basically after the 5-minute mark in that first half. He was not a problem.
Yeah, and I think he only had 1 field goal in the second half, and so our guys really wanted to kind of clamp down on him, and they did a great job with that. And I thought the other kid was a shooter that played extremely well the first time we played, and I think he came off the bench late in the game and had 6 or 8 points or something of that nature. But I thought we did a great job of defending those guys at the three-point line. They beat us up really bad at the three-point line when we first played them, and I thought our three-point defense was terrific.
All right, before we go and take a look at some of the highlights real quick, your thoughts on just that overall coach's feeling about this team as you get ready to head to New Orleans?
Well, I feel really good, and I feel good because I feel like this team can win different ways. The last couple of years I've taken a team in as I felt the game had to be played this way for us to win. And I think that if you want to slow it up, we can beat you that way, and we've won games that way. If you want to go score in the hundreds, we can go do that, and we've won games that way. So that's what I feel really good about is the versatility of, I don't have to say, man, the game's got to be played like this for us to win. I feel like we can win at any type of pace or any type of style that we need to play.
All right, Georgia State's final 2 regular season games, a loss at home against Troy, final score 83-70, a win on senior day in the regular season finale over South Alabama, 90-75. And we're going to talk more to Coach Hunter as his team gets ready to head down to New Orleans. But right now, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the final 2 games of the regular season at the Georgia State Sports Arena. Jeff driving into the paint, out to Williams, right side, wide open 3. Good! 3-pointer, Isaiah Williams. Dribble that ball back out front. Panthers will reset. Gets a screen from Session. Drives, open 3. Simons. Good! DeMarcus Simons. Top, trying to get to the rack, baseline right side. His jumper is up and good from 12 feet. Devin working around the Session screen, stops the open 3. Good! Isaiah driving in the lane. The runner is up, and it's good by Isaiah Williams. this pass stolen by Isaiah Williams. Isaiah's going to drive in. The layup is good. Kane off to Jeff Thomas. Catch and shoot three. God, Jeff Thomas from the right wing. Georgia State's back on top. Georgia State going to win on Senior Day here at the arena, and the Panthers going to win their 21st game of the year. Again, some of the highlights from the Georgia State Sports Arena last Thursday night, Saturday afternoon, the final two regular season games. Georgia State wins 21 games this year. That is the fifth time in the last 7 years, all 7 years that Coach Hunter's been at the helm at Georgia State, that they have won at least 20 ball games. And, before we start talking a little bit more about the Sun Belt Conference tournament and some of your thoughts and expectations, I did want to go back and say Jordan Tyson, who transferred in from St. Bonaventure last year, had a great game against South Alabama, maybe his best game of the season. 9 points, which is a career high, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks.
Yeah, I thought the entire weekend he was really good. Even as bad as we were in Troy, I thought he was the only bright spot in that regards. And so he's playing his best basketball right now. I think that takes a lot of pressure off of Jordan Tyson. But I also said, remember, guys in their second year become much better in our program because they start to figure out what needs to be done. They relax a little bit more. And so really, he's at the end of that first year. So, and just starting to figure some things out. But with his size and his mobility, I thought he did some really nice things, and that can really bode well for him in the future and for our future also.
I was going to say, it makes you excited about next year and what he could potentially, playing like that on a more consistent basis, could really do contribution-wise to Georgia State basketball next year. Sun Belt Conference postseason honors came out. And another Georgia State Panther has been named Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. Congratulations to DeMarcus Simons, Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, Sun Belt Conference All-First Team, and Devin Mitchell, all Sun Belt Conference third team.
Yeah, I'm not big on individual awards. I'm big on more team success. But out of team success, you get great individual awards. And so if the team didn't do well, these things didn't happen. And so really, really excited about DeMarcus and what he was able to accomplish and, doing as a sophomore, becoming Player of the Year. I think we've had the Player of the Year 3 of the last 5 years. RJ actually did it when he was a sophomore also. So it shows volume about what we've done here in the program. And my assistants, the type of guys they're recruiting to bring in here. And then, Devin Mitchell going from averaging 4 points a game last year to being all-conference in the Sun Belt this year. Right. The hard work he's put into his game to the point where he's able to be an all-conference player. At the mid-major level, if you get 2 all-conference guys, especially from your backcourt, then you've got a good team. So kudos to those guys, but kudos to their teammates because there's some other guys that could have easily been on that list also.
Yeah, I thought Malik Benlevy could have very well been at least a third-team guy all Sun Belt this year. Okay, so Georgia State getting set to head down to New Orleans, and you'll play your first game. It's going to be against either South Alabama or Troy, the winner of the 7-10. You get them Friday night, 6 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah, we go back and we just played these teams, and so I think there's some familiarity to that. But I think we're just excited to be able to play. Last time I had a Player of the Year in the Sun Belt, and there was a name we won. We went to the NCAA tournament, so I'm feeling good about this. And won a game. So I'm feeling good about this young man and the team that we're taking down to New Orleans, and we've had a great year. And we're going to go in there, relax, have some fun, and do a lot of damage in that tournament.
I was going to say, it is a fine line, and you and I talked about it on your weekly radio show, of especially when you get into postseason play, of being on edge just enough and being relaxed just enough so that you can go out there and just play your game.
Yeah, that's the thing that you got to be, this is a new season. Everybody's 0-0, but you say, listen, we had a really good year, and we're taking all the season in with us, but it is a new season. But let's go in and let's the world's not going to come to an end. Let's just go relax. Let's go play. Sometimes what happens is that the tension gets there, and all of a sudden, we did that when 3 years ago. We're 17-1, kind of like what's going on in Lafayette, and the pressure we put on ourselves. We weren't having any fun. And then it caught up to us at the end of that game. And so we just got to go and relax, have fun, and go play the best games we can.
All right, well, great show today, and thanks for coming in. We'll see you in New Orleans.
All right, see you in New Orleans.
All right, Georgia State heading to New Orleans. They'll face the winner of the 7-10 matchup, which will be played early in the week between Troy and South Alabama. So, again, want to thank Coach for coming in, being on the show, and we'll see everyone down in New Orleans for the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Coming up next here in the Georgia State Sports Update, we're talking baseball from the ballpark at Panthersville. Head coach Greg Frady and junior catcher Nick Gatewood. Back here in the Georgia State Sports Update from the ballpark here at Panthersville. Dave Cohen joined by head baseball coach Greg Frady, and great way to get the series started with Eastern Illinois. You pick up your 5th win of the season, now 5-3, and you end up with a nice win over a pretty good ball club that came in here after sweeping Memphis before they came to Atlanta.
Yeah, we knew they were going to be pretty good. They had won 5 in a row. They were hot, a lot of momentum, a lot of energy. They've got a good offensive team. Their starter's a good guy. We knew that it was going to be a challenge for us. And then on top of that, I thought we really kind of lost our rhythm of playing. We had to play a doubleheader last Saturday, so an off day on Sunday, which is a rarity, and then an off day NCAA-wise on Monday. And we got a good practice in on Tuesday, but then we got rained out at Georgia and couldn't practice, and then got rained out yesterday and couldn't practice. So I was concerned about the rhythm of our team, and I talked to our team about senior leadership and a mature team, a veteran team, knowing what they're up against. And I really think it took half a game, Dave, to really get going. And when we did, we finally broke out.
Ball club always feels well. I know you do too. Very confident when Hunter Gaddis, your Friday night starter, takes the hill and gets the ball. He pitched a great game in the series opener.
We feel very confident, and why wouldn't we? You know, I think, in my opinion, he's one of the best pitchers in the nation, and we love having him on there. I think our team plays well. We turned 4 double plays behind him tonight. So not only is he pitching well, we're supporting him defensively, and yes, we do feel good. I mean, he's 3-0. He's got 3 of our 5 wins right now. Love what he's doing.
You and I talked on the radio. What differences have you seen in his ability and his skill as a pitcher coming from that really good freshman season he had and the work he did with USA Baseball in the summer into his sophomore year?
I think the one word I would use is confidence. I mean, he never lacked confidence, but his confidence continues to spike upward right now, and he's pitching in the toughest, most difficult role. Everybody knows about him. Everybody's ready for him, and he's still doing a great job and still putting us in a position to win. Every single time he has pitched us into the 7th or the 8th inning, when you have a starter that can do that on Friday, it helps you with your bullpen. It helps you as a manager, manage your roster. It keeps you in a better position to win on Saturday and win on Sunday. And I just can't say enough good things about Hunter Gaddis and how much I really appreciate him.
Well, certainly it helps his cause when the team's playing the kind of defense they're playing. As you mentioned, the double plays in the opener on Friday night. And right now, Georgia State leading Division I college baseball, 16 double plays at this taping.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal. It's awesome. It's what we work on. I mean, it's really what you practice as a coach. We spend so much time working on double plays and throwing to the correct bases. And I want to start by saying our outfield does a good job keeping that in order when we do give up a hit and the runner may go first to third base. But then you've got guys like seniors like Jack Thompson, Kendall Ford, Will Kilgore, Justin Jones. We've got Mike Huggins, Romero Greer. Those are all senior infielders that know what to do, that can really handle the ball. And so I feel good when that ball's hit on the ground. I'm always thinking good things happening.
Certainly good to pound out 12 hits as well in the opener, hitting the ball as well as playing good defense.
Well, if you'd told me at maybe the midpoint of the game we're going to have 12 hits, I would have said, hey, we got to hurry up, because early in the game we were really stifled. I think it was a combination of their pitcher did a good job, and give him credit. But then on the other hand, we did not have our rhythm, our timing, the tempo was not good. It just took us some time to get settled. I think every hitter on our team needed about 2 at-bats to really get back to seeing the baseball. And then we really won the second half of the game, and that's something that's been a point of emphasis with our team. We're trying to do a better job to close games out and win the second half.
All right, lastly, before he joins us on this segment, talk about your junior catcher, Nick Gatewood. He had a pretty good game in the series opener, 3 hits and 5 at-bats.
He did have a good game, but he's having a great season, not just a good game. I think when we all think and talk about Nick, we think about him offensively, a left-handed hitting catcher who can really hit for average, hit for power. He hits third for us, which is by far the most difficult place to hit in any order, because everybody comes in and says, don't let Nick Gatewood beat you. But then again, tonight he has 3 hits and RBIs, and he's doing a great job. But besides that, he's catching some of the best baseball I've seen him catch. He's blocking well. He came off of a fall where he had some arm tendonitis and really wasn't feeling well, and we were very concerned about his arm and his health, his injury. But then we gave him time off, and that healed, and I think it was a blessing. And now his arm's really feeling good. He's throwing out a lot of runners. It's a very low percentage to steal against us right now, and I know the other teams know that too. That's why they're not running. And then the way he's blocking and controlling the game, I think has given our pitching staff a lot of confidence to free up and just throw it where they want to so Nick can take care of that business.
All right, Coach. As always, appreciate it. Great to get the Friday night win, and good luck the rest of the series, and we'll talk to you again soon here on the update.
Yeah, thank you very much. I always appreciate everybody following us. Come out to Panthersville and see us play. It's a great product.
All right, Coach. Appreciate it. Right now, he's going to turn the microphone over to our junior catcher from Peachtree Ridge High School in Duluth, and that is Nick Gatewood. But just talk a little bit about the series opener and your play and the pitching of Hunter Gaddis.
Well, right now our team's playing awesome defense. We're pitching great, and really that's how you win games. That's where it starts. And people want to see you guys banging home runs, but that's when Hunter Gaddis gets on the mound and gives a start like that. It's tough to beat us.
You catch just about all of the pitchers, the starting pitchers. What is it about Hunter, and what difference have you noticed from him from a year ago to where he is this year? He's off to a 3-0 start.
Well, Hunter, when he came in here as a freshman last year, before he really found his role, his command wasn't really there, but now he throws it where he wants to, and all pitches, he's got control of every pitch. He's doing a great job. Coach
was mentioning a little bit of the shoulder situation. How are you health-wise? You certainly look good in the Friday night opener with with 3 hits and the work you did behind the plate. But how are you health-wise?
Yeah, my arm feels good. Spent the fall just doing rehab and not really doing much, which is killing me, but feeling good now. So.
This team off to a 5-3 start after this Friday night win, and again rained out at Georgia, so you missed that opportunity. But how would you assess the start so far with this team?
I really don't think our record really shows how good we are as a team. We've had some close games that didn't go our way, but I think going forward we'll win some games.
And as we were saying earlier too, not just offensively for you, the numbers that you put up, but defensively, your job behind the plate. Runners not, as Coach said, team's not looking to run on Georgia State when you're behind the plate. That's going to certainly stick in the back of your mind and really, make you feel good about the way you're playing this year.
Yeah, it really feels good. Coming in here as a freshman, I was always just, looked at as kind of a hitter and not really defensive-wise. So, it's good to see all my hard work coming into play and seeing results.
I was going to say, is that a bulk of the work that you did in the off season was to improve defensively?
Well, when my elbow was hurt, I couldn't swing at all. So that was basically all I was doing, and it went well for me.
All right, Nick. Well, great having you on the show. Congratulations on getting this win, and we'll be watching the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Georgia State catcher Nick Gatewood. Also, thanks to head baseball coach Greg Frady. That's it here on the Georgia State Sports Update from the ballpark at Panthersville.
Here at the Georgia State Beach Volleyball Complex with head coach Beth Van Fleet. One of the perks of being in the South playing volleyball is even though it's a little bit chilly, it's still warm enough to play.
Absolutely.
We had some weather.
Yes.
Some negative weather, some pouring rain. I wasn't here when it was pouring, but I hear it was quite torrential. Was that right?
It was, yes. That's one of the nice things about this sport is we have to be able to play with all of the external elements. So sometimes it's very windy, sometimes it's very sunny, sometimes it's pouring, and we have to practice in all those conditions so that we're ready to compete in any of them.
What does that do to practice? It's like if you check the weather report, you look at your phone and you see it's going to rain on Tuesday. So the week, let's say, leading up to this tournament, do you take a hose out and spray the balls down or something to kind of get used to that?
That is such a good idea. I've never thought of that, and I will do that moving forward.
You're welcome. If the players don't like it, you can still blame me.
Yeah.
But that's just really curiously, though, like how do you practice for that? Do you anticipate that?
Luckily, we have rain that comes through here pretty regularly, and the girls will tell you whenever it rains, I get so excited. So it's just such a nice thing to be able to practice in the rain because we practice like we're competing when we get those opportunities.
And your daughter, who was just here, Olivia, who just made a beautiful appearance.
Yes.
She has so much fun, obviously.
She loves, these girls are her sisters. These athletes are all her sisters. She loves being outdoors. She loves the sand. I think she wants to play soccer more than volleyball right now, which is great.
And you don't feel any kind of way about that?
I'm very supportive. I'm very happy.
That's good. I did see her running around with some cups of sand earlier too. That was cute.
It looked like sand, but really that was ice cream. She makes ice cream a lot for all the athletes.
Excuse me. I should have known better. So all the fun had today, and we had an incredible set of matches, of course.
Yes.
They went 2-0 and swept across the board.
We love those days.
We love those days. Who doesn't love those days?
Yes.
Your time here as coach, every year it seemed to, if it hasn't been great, it's been on the up. Hi, Olivia.
Hi,
we can make some time.
One
Hello.
second.
No, please, let her in.
Okay.
How are you, Olivia?
Good.
You're good? How did you like watching your mom and the team play today?
Great.
That's good. So they had some good wins today. That's what I'm talking to your mom about. I'm talking about the good wins. Swept,
Yes.
right, as we
Yep.
talked about. So with a sweep like that, when you have an incredible day like this, which is the one you always want to have, how do you coach beyond it? Because quite literally, I mean, maybe there's some technical things, but as far as the outcome, you really couldn't have done any better.
Yes, exactly. Those are the days we prepare for. So when we're actually in the games, we're looking at how are we running our defense? How many different defense systems are we running? What are we doing offensively? So looking at the small pieces of the game that somebody that's just out here casually watching would not be able to tell the difference one way or the other. But we're looking at, are we stopped when our opponent is attacking, or are we still moving? Those very small things make a very, very big difference. And that's what we train for. And when we're able to come out and perform those at the level that we did today, it makes my heart so happy.
And since you've been coaching here, everything is, if it hasn't already been great, it's been continuously going uphill.
Yes.
And that's something I'm sure you probably hang your hat on as a head coach. Something this season that was, I think a lot of fans got excited about, was the first time of the three you have, or two more to come, three total this season, you will face LSU.
Yep.
Sixth in the nation. I know going into this tournament, you were ranked 11th. So
Yes.
I think people didn't really expect that gap. It's not really that big a gap from where you are to maybe where they hear about in LSU. But people were
Absolutely.
very excited about that victory. And
Yep.
especially being down the first set.
Yeah.
And then coming back and winning the next two. What was that like in Louisiana, and the team responding and coming back like that, especially against such a great opponent who really is historically good in their
Yes.
volleyball program?
Yeah, LSU is an incredible program. They had a great year last year. We've always competed very closely with them, and we know when we face them, it's going to come down to that last game, and it's probably going to be 2 points one way or the other. We actually practiced for it a lot this year, so in our practices, we'll have one game going on where two pairs are playing against each other, and the rest of the team stands on the sideline and cheers to kind of create that pressure situation for us. But it really does. A lot of these games just come down to heart. So we match up very well with LSU, and it's just a matter of who's going to make that extra play, who's going to give that extra effort, who's going to have that extra heart on that particular day. But yeah, we get to play them 2 more times this season.
One of them
and
just this Saturday. It's
Yes,
coming up very soon.
We're facing them. So I think it'll just be a matter of, can we stay disciplined? Can we play to our standard, and can we continue to grow the game? And we love when we get to play against teams that are strong, because they challenge us to play better. And I think a lot of the pairs today that we played, there were some very strong competitive pairs out here, and it was neat for us to continue to play at our standard.
So we had so much fun today. There's
Yep.
so much more of the season to come, including some more big matchups with LSU. Thanks for talking, Coach Van Fleet. It's been
Absolutely.
a pleasure. We want more home games here.
Yeah.
Let's get some more
Yes.
tournaments at the complex. There's so much traveling you guys do.
The next one, March 23rd, March 24th. That's our last one, but hopefully next year we'll get another date. We love being home. We love how many people come out and support. Even in the rain, the people are out here standing. All of
That's
our
amazing.
family, fans, and friends. So it's wonderful to play at home. The athletes absolutely love it.
We look forward to what's left to come. So back to you in the studio, Dave.
Another fun show this week here in the Sports Update as we talk all things Georgia State each and every week. Best of luck to head coach Ron Hunter and the Panthers as, again, they head down to New Orleans for the 2018 Sun Belt Conference basketball tournament. Also want to thank baseball coach Greg Frady and catcher Nick Gatewood, and beach volleyball's Beth Van Fleet for joining us on the show this week. For the entire crew, I'm Dave Cohen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you here next week on the Georgia State Sports Update.